And we start. And the recording didn't start. Oh no, started, okay. Now, right. The discussion we want to have today is about the meaning of religion. Which it's actually a quite important topic, because it concerns practically everyone in one way or another. So I'm going to read what I have started to prepare on the subject. Then you can please interrupt me anytime to clarify, clarification, objections, questions, anything. So, what is religion? Which is interesting. This is a question. Religion is a natural instinct of all human beings and includes fundamental aspirations such as a desire to find meaning in life, the search for knowledge and understanding, a sense of community and communion with the rest of the world, and especially with a higher power, a sense of happiness and satisfaction based on the feeling of a clear conscience, a sense of connection with one's roots and origins, and so on. Up to here, anything to add? No.
No.
Clear, all clear.
Hanji.
There are two broad categories of religions: authoritarian and non-authoritarian. Authoritarian religions are based on some type of historical revelation from what is considered a higher authority, such as a prophet, a founder, etc., who reveals what is considered the orders of God. The followers of such religions are required to believe blindly, to be loyal and faithful, to comply with the orders or commandments without questioning, and to accept whatever the religious authority says. All clear?
Yeah.
The orders of the religious authority are presented as superior to any other consideration, especially about ordinary ethics and morals, including compassion, nonviolence, tolerance, human cooperation, and natural affection towards one's loved persons. We can say natural respect and affection, because respect is important. Non-authoritarian religions are based on the personal experience of what we could call spirituality. They accept, not it, because the non-authoritarian religions is plural, they accept the need of learning from the teachings of more experienced persons, also through books. But they encourage each individual to verify the validity of such teachings through personal research, also learning from various sources, confronting with one's natural inner conscience of good and evil, critically observing the results of the application of the teachings, and so on. Is this clear?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Very good. And relevant, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. Authoritarian religions are opposed to scientific research, while non-authoritarian religions accept the value of objective and critical analysis and experimentation. Verification and experimentation. Okay. Authoritarian religions give great importance to the historicity of their revelation through one particular prophet, while non-authoritarian religions value a number of contributions from different personalities along the entire duration of time, as various perspectives on the same one reality. Clear?
Yes. हाँ जी.
Non-authoritarian religions are fundamentally dharmic, which means they are based on the natural, eternal, universal principles of ethics, while authoritarian religions consider dharma as human relativism that must be disregarded when it contradicts the orders of God, in quotes.
Yeah.
Sometimes the word dharma is translated as religion, but that is quite inaccurate. The word religion derives from the ancient Latin religare, meaning to connect, connecting each human being to God and to the members of a same community. This applies to all religions, plural. The word dharma derives from the ancient Sanskrit dhar, meaning to support. So there is difference. Connecting and supporting, there are two different things.
Yeah.
But they can be compatible, right? Why not?
Yeah.
Okay, we can add that. The idea of religion and dharma, the ideas of religion and dharma can be mutually compatible as long as the fundamental principles of religion are compatible with the fundamental principles of dharma and vice versa. Okay. Okay. The principles of dharma are often listed as, starting from satyam, meaning honesty, truthfulness, transparency, search for truth, to dayam, means compassion, non-violence, kindness, benevolence towards all beings, mutual support, help and assistance, solidarity, etc. 3. Socham, meaning cleanliness, purity, purification, simplicity, etc. Tapas, meaning personal effort, self-discipline, serious dedications, etc. Other important components of dharma are kshama, means forgiveness, generosity. Swadhyaya means personal study and self-examination. Tyaga or vairagya, meaning detachment from personal identifications and attachments, equanimity and balance in all situations and towards different types of people and so on. Okay, so we have seen what are the two main categories, broad categories of religion, authoritarian, non-authoritarian. And we have not introduced the different types of religion according to the ordinary, current, mainstream academic definition. We get there. So, and we understand what is the meaning of dharma, the difference between dharma and religion. Then we go to the main religions of the world according to popular statistics and mainstream classifications in academic academic and cultural categories, narratives. Okay, we have to, okay, because I have Italian keyboard, so if I'm trying to using, okay. The biggest one is Christianity.
Yeah.
Then we have Islam. Christianity is 28.8% of the general population, which is according to, in 2020.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we can add that. There is no consensus about researchers as the best methodology to determine a religious profile of the world's population. Means they don't check what people actually believe in and what people actually practice. So, a number of fundamental aspects are not resolved. Means whether to count historically predominant religious cultures, like Europe was not always Christian.
Yeah.
The Americas were not always Christian. Because before the colonization started, around 500, 400 years ago, there was no Christian there, not even one.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. There were the so-called native religions, which today are listed among the other religions. How did it happen that the same thing was in Europe? Christianity only started 2,000 years ago, because they say Jesus was born 2,000 years ago, right? So before Jesus Christ, there was no Christianity, right?
Yeah.
But the world didn't start 2,000 years ago.
No.
And Europe was there before 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, Christianity only became a predominant religion in Europe starting from the year, the 4th and 5th centuries. That was a start. Yeah. Historically speaking, Christianity started to expand when first Constantine and then Theodosius, who were two Roman emperors, decided that Christianity had to become the state religion of the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
Before that, there were no Christians. In fact, not even Christians were Christians. Before the year 300 and something, there was no denomination of Christianity.
And yeah.
Because there were a lot of groups following this idea of this guy called Jesus, but they were not calling themselves Christians. This is very much the same as for Buddhism.
Yeah.
Buddha was not a Buddhist.
I see.
Jesus was not a Christian.
Yeah.
So just like Buddha was a Hindu, Jesus was a Jew.
Yeah.
This is why Christians still have the Old Testament in their Bible.
Yeah. The Mataji, like with the Old Testament, I was just wondering that the New Testament, so that was like who's
from
teaching?
Jesus, onwards.
Oh, so the Old Testament was pre-Jesus.
Yeah, meaning old, yeah.
Yeah, and then since Jesus, the
Old Testament.
Yeah.
Literally means pact, agreement.
I see. So that the New Testament is from 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And it
Less.
hasn't been
Okay.
modified since then, no?
Yeah.
That's the words, okay, from that time. Okay. I just want to clear that, that's all.
Yeah, no, exactly. We need to clarify all these things. Then, based on your questions, the things that you feel the need to clarify, we are going to then prepare the write-up.
Yeah.
So this is why I wanted to have this discussion, because, this is important. Then, the Old Testament is also described as the Hebrew Bible, the Jewish Bible.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
There is a distinction between the word Jew and the word Hebrew. The word Hebrew indicates a language, and generally a culture. The word Jewish, Jew, describes a religion.
Yeah.
Now,
Jewish, yeah.
the first Old Testament Bible was that we know historically about, was written in Greek, not in Hebrew.
Oh, okay.
And it was written around about 300 or 400 BCE.
Yeah.
But we don't have any copy of that.
Oh, okay.
The only copy we have of that version of the Jewish Bible, that is called the Septuaginta. Septuaginta means of the 70. It's a Latin word meaning of the 70, because it was written by a group, a committee of 70 scholars that were in Alexandria of Egypt, and were asked by the pharaoh, the Greek pharaoh Ptolemy II.
Yeah.
He was Greek, even if he was Egyptian.
Yeah.
Because Egypt became was conquered by Alexander the Great, and when Alexander died, Alexander the Great was about 500 BCE. Alexander, the Greek guy, who went around and conquered lots of stuff, lots of places. So he also conquered Egypt. So he left his empire. He died quite young, and he left his empire to two of his main generals. One of the two was called Seleucus, and the other was called Ptolemy. They were Greek. Now, the Ptolemy guy, Ptolemy general, who was a Greek and spoke Greek, was given the control about Egypt. So he became a pharaoh. Pharaoh means king of Egypt.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, his successor, Ptolemy II, developed the famous Library of Alexandria, with university and stuff. So in about 400 or 300 BCE, this Ptolemy II organized this library and gave the, gave a task to some contemporary scholars to write down all the knowledge that they had. For the library. So these 70 Jewish scholars from Israel, Palestine, whatever you want to call it, they sat together and produced this Septuaginta version. Now, the earliest copy of this Septuaginta version in Greek is that we still have today is the version of Origen. Origen was a Christian guy in the 1st century who got a copy, and he copied it, changing whatever he wanted to change.
I see.
And this is a manuscript that we have from the 1st century.
I mean, Mataji, with the Jewish
Yes.
Bible, so to speak, is the Torah, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that come after this?
No, it came as the first recorded, historically recorded version of the Torah was from this Septuaginta, was written in Greek in Alexandria, Egypt, by the 70 scholars.
Oh, right, okay.
Around, let's say, 400, 300 BCE.
I see. So, all right, that's also known as the Torah, the Septuaginta.
That's the Torah.
Okay.
Now,
okay.
there is another version in Hebrew.
Yeah.
Okay, which the Jews consider, more important, and this version is called the Masoretic version. Now, the funny thing in Hebrew and the other Semitic languages is that they don't write the vocals.
Yeah.
So you can add whatever vocals you want. And, depending on which vocals you add, you can interpret as you like. Because the words get a different meaning.
Yeah.
But the Masoretic versions that we have, the only one that is still existing in Hebrew, the oldest manuscript, is from the year 1000 of the current era. 1008 specifically, of the current era, after Christ.
Oh, yeah.
So, this is the historical scientific fact. Unfortunately, the propaganda by the Christians and the Jews does not recognize the historical verified facts. Because as we have seen before, the authoritarian religions don't give a dried gober, a white gober even, about verification. You just have to believe. So the historicity, when the religion started, we have a problem. Because authoritative religions, they say what they want you to believe, and you cannot verify. But the science and archaeology and historical records say otherwise.
Yeah.
Now, the non-authoritative religions don't give a white gober about when it was written.
Hanji.
Because the knowledge does not depend on one particular authority. So that's why we are saying that the Vedic religion, the Hindu religion, is eternal.
Hanji.
Because there is no beginning. It's always been there. There is no one particular prophet or authority. As I was mentioning in my, write-up that I started to produce, non-authoritative religions accept the validity of teachings.
Yeah.
It's not that there is no consideration of previous teachings, that you have to experiment everything from zero. But that is also scientific, because when you want to learn mathematics or physics or chemistry, you start by learning the teachings of people who already made that experience.
Yeah.
But you don't just depend on one person whose word is the word of God.
Yeah, yeah.
You can read treatise, essays or books or mathematics or physics or chemistry or everything from a variety of writers.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Definitely.
Now, of course, you cannot read a book on mathematics written by, like your cousin who never went to school. He doesn't know anything about mathematics, so he's just inventing stuff.
Yeah.
Because you need the teacher to be qualified.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Doesn't mean qualified in the sense that is certified by the government, because the government sometimes certifies stupid people. But it means that when you read a book written by someone,
Yeah.
you have to verify what is written in the book with the basic principles of that science.
Yeah.
So if suddenly someone writing a book of mathematics is writing that 2 + 2 is 6, it doesn't matter who wrote the book.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if the person who wrote the book had had a PhD in mathematics, because he might have become completely crazy. One day he fell down and cracked his head and became crazy.
Yeah.
Who knows? Science is not supposed to be based on authority.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be based on verification, experimentation. So you go and see the actual scientists, the actual researchers, they always come up with new theories based, and they say, oh, we rewrite the history of this or the history of that. Yeah, we rewrite because we found out that. Yeah. And nobody thinks that they have to throw all the books away. The problem is that ignorant people sometimes they also take science as a religion.
Yeah.
So the new discoveries and the new theories, they don't think that the scientific theories are theories. They think they're absolute eternal truth, and they cannot be questioned.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is the example of authoritative religion that is dressed up as science. Science itself is not supposed to be an authoritative religion, but for many people it is. So you see the basic difference.
Yeah, I do see the difference. Authority, religions, and non-authority.
Exactly. So the same things can happen, for example, in Hinduism or Buddhism.
Yeah.
Which they're not supposed to be authoritative religions.
Yeah.
But some people are so used to the idea of authoritative religions that they interpret non-authoritative religions as authoritative religions. So they take one founder of that particular, like, Adi Shankar or Bhaktivedanta Swami, or Vivekananda, or I don't know, Yogananda, Kriyananda, whatever,
One
and
person,
they consider that person as the absolute authority on religion,
yeah,
which is against the basic principle of Hinduism and Vedic knowledge.
yeah.
So you see how it's difficult to categorize religions.
Yeah, it is difficult. I mean, when you say that having one person is against the principles of Hinduism, like, what does it say specifically in Hinduism that confirms that it is not correct to have one person? Does it say something specific, Mataji, about that?
Oh, it's everywhere. We have, like for example, the Gita is saying every time I descend, to establish the principles of Dharma, and Vidya. The Vedic knowledge, if you actually read the Shastra, lots of people are talking.
Hanji.
Krishna is explaining the Bhagavad Gita, which is beautiful, but not because Krishna said it. It's because of what is written inside the Bhagavad Gita. It's the merit of the teachings. It's not because Krishna said it.
Is that the whole Bhagavad Gita, Mataji? Is written by Krishna, is it?
It's not written by Krishna. It's spoken by Krishna. It was written by Vedavyas.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So that's spoken, the whole was from Krishna.
Yeah, because Bhagavad Gita is 18 chapters of the Mahabharata, which describe the discussion, the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna.
Hanji.
But you go to see the Veda Samhitas, you are not going to find Krishna anywhere.
Hanji.
You have a lot of rishis. These rishi compose these stuti, stotra, blah, blah, this another one here, blah, blah, And Shiva is giving a lot of Shastra, especially in the conversations between Shiva and Parvati. This is lots of Tantra scriptures.
Hanji.
And so then we have, various persons in the Puranas. We have, Vishnu talking, Brahma talking, Maitreya talking, Yajnavalkya talking. So all these teachings are referred to, these personalities, but none of these personalities is considered as the supreme authority.
Yeah.
Because they're talking about knowledge, and knowledge doesn't have an authority.
Yeah.
Knowledge, scientific knowledge, is beyond authorities.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who says. Because reality is reality.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who says, what reality is. It doesn't change reality.
Yeah, that's the universal,
exactly.
Principles, I guess. Yeah, and it does. Yeah, that.
So this is the main difference.
I see.
That's why I made these two big categories: authoritative and non-authoritative, authoritarian.
No, that helps to understand much better. Yeah, like the differences between.
Okay, then we go. The number of fundamental aspects are unresolved in this, giving the assigning religions to different numbers of population. Like, for example, again, whether to count historically predominant religious cultures. Not only before 2,000 years ago there were no Christians, but even today there are much less Christians in these regions than people think.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I don't know if I linked it to you. Recently, I was sent a link on X, previously Twitter, in which the president of the Italian Hindu Union, who is a Francesco something, totally Italian name, Italian face, Italian birth and everything, is the president of the Hindu Union and says that in Italy there are 200,000 Hindus, of which about 80% are non-Indian. They're not from Indian origin. They come from, the original, Italian culture. And in the same way, there are many movements within Europe and within the blue world that we see in the picture that are going back to the ancient cultures, pre-Christian cultures.
Yeah.
There are big movements. It is called neo-paganism or pagan reconstructionism.
Yeah.
So when we see that we have, this 28.8% Christianity, this is not actually reliable. Because it's not, historically predominant religious culture. Because maybe, historically it has been, for about, about 2,000 years, but it's not anymore, and it was not before 2,000 years, and it will not be probably after, after some time.
Yeah.
Then, second problem of non-resolved aspect, whether to count only those who actively practice a particular religion, which is connected to the first part. Which means people who don't believe or practice in that particular religion, should not be counted as members of that religion, even if they were born there.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Hanji.
Me, I'm definitely, if someone says that I'm Christian, I get offended.
Hanji.
Then, again, whether to count based on a concept of self-identification means if someone is not a Christian, doesn't believe in Christianity, why you have to tell him he's Christian? In the same thing, you see India as totally Hindu.
Yeah.
How accurate is that?
No, it's not accurate at all. Yeah, there's obviously a lot of Christians.
Total bullshit.
Yeah.
Total bullshit.
Yeah.
Even if we say that Hindus are the majority in India, what kind of Hindus are they? They know nothing about Hinduism.
Yeah. It's very, it's very
propaganda.
Yeah.
You cannot really depend on say, the major religions. Yeah, right. Then, whether to count only adults or include children as well. And they usually here, they count obviously also children. Whether to rely on official government provided statistics. Yes, thanks. And talking about propaganda. If the government is, heavily identified with some religion, like for example, in Islamic controlled countries, of course the population of minorities will become less because they're persecuted. But you go to the minorities, for example, in India, they are actually favored. So they have become the practical majority, like for example in Kashmir, they're still considered treated as minorities with the privilege of minorities, given by the Indian Constitution, even if they're the actual majority of the population in that area. So the official government provides the statistics. I'm like, meh. Okay. Whether
we can't take it. We can't. I said we can't take it too much like it's the truth.
Yeah, we actually have to go and verify.
Yeah.
Because academic narratives can also become authoritarian religions.
Yeah.
Because if they don't accept verification, if they don't accept multiple sources, they're not academic or scientific anymore. They're just authoritarian.
Anji.
In fact, here, last part, whether to use multiple sources and ranges or single best sources, means the official one, the authoritarian ones. Then, we have Christianity, Abrahamic religions. So here they are dividing Abrahamic, Indian, and regional folk. Now, founded, they started. So Hinduism, they say, Indian subcontinent, 20th to 17th century BCE, which is garbage, rubbish. Because we know from the Hindu tradition that it didn't start, 2000 BCE. It's eternal.
Yeah.
So like what? Christianity, okay, they says they actually, the name itself is defined as, based on Jesus. Okay?
Yeah.
We understand, that started not before year 30, because Jesus, was not there before that. Islam, said he was founded around 610 of the present era, because Muhammad is recognized as the first Muslim.
Yeah.
But, they're based on Abrahamic ideology. Then we get to the Abrahamic thing. But Hinduism never says there was one founder. So this idea that, they're giving this date as if there was a founder.
Yeah, 100.
Which is, sorry, who said that? We didn't say that, you said that.
Yeah.
Now, if we want to categorize Hinduism as the present form, then we can say that Adi Shankar is the founder of Hinduism, because he started doing a major reform. But reform doesn't mean founding.
Yeah.
And Adi Shankar, is assigned as the dating, the period of Adi Shankar is assigned by the mainstream academic narrative in 800 of the current era. But if we go and ask the Shankaracharya Mats, they will say, no, Adi Shankar was 500 BCE. So there is a discrepancy, a difference of, minus 500 to plus 800, how much is that? You know mathematics better than me. How many centuries is that?
Yeah, 13. Yeah.
Quite a lot.
Yeah.
So who are we going to listen to? To the people who represent Adi Shankar? Or to people who want to describe Hinduism from a Christian point of view, colonialist point of view? Thanks. I think the choice is quite clear.
Hanji.
And the same thing happens with Buddhism. It's an Indian religion, okay, because Buddha was a Hindu, thank you very much. Indian subcontinent, about 5th century BCE. That is what the Abrahamic-based academic narrative says. But you go and ask the Buddhists, and they tell you, no, he was 1600 BCE, not 500 BCE.
Oh, Buddha.
Yeah.
1600. Okay.
You go to, that is the verification process that we were discussing before. Who are you going to ask?
Yeah.
If people say that, you're I don't know, your father is someone that you've never seen in your life, and you go to your mother and say, no, your father is the one that you know, the one that has always been there. Who are you going to listen to? So if we want to verify, we need to go to the source.
Yeah.
So you see, this information, as we were saying before, here exactly, whether to use multiple sources and ranges or single best sources. Okay, we don't need to go to the single source, but what is the best?
Yeah.
The best is what? The one that is recognized, certified by the government? What does the government knows?
Yeah. It's I think a person has to question for themselves.
And verify, go and verify, research.
Yeah, rather than accepting blindly. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, the authoritative, the authoritarian, version. Like I always say, text and context.
Yeah.
If we don't go and verify the text and context, then we are in the field of faith, blind faith. You believe what the authority tells you, and okay, thanks. No point in discussing. Because you're never going to listen to anything else. Medium-sized religions. So the other religions.
Yeah.
So we have Shinto, Japanese religion. Unknown origin date. That's so nice. We should say that about Hinduism as well. Shinto is the religion of the ancestors.
Yeah.
Okay. We honor the ancestors, we honor the tradition, we honor our rules and cultures, like we said before. Rules and cultures is something that we naturally want to feel. Then we have Taoism. We have millions of followers here. Okay. So we have 89 million of Shinto people who believe in ancestors, worship in the sense honoring the ancestors. Okay, that's not bad. Taoism is about from 12 to 173 million people we don't know. Chinese religions. Taoism is also in Japan. And it was in China. Still, some people now are starting again to say that the Taoists, but they're not so easy because of the communist, anti-religious government of China. Then we have the Yoruba religion, it's about 100 million people. And we have the Voodoo religion, which is another African religion, is again Yorubaland and Dahomey, unknown origin. These are shamanic religions.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Sikhism only has 25 to 30 million followers. And we know when it was founded.
Yeah.
Very precisely.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago, yeah. Well, if you look at the history of all the religions, yeah.
History. We look at history, recorded and, verifiable history.
Yeah.
Okay. But then, of course, as we can discuss it at some other point when we talk specifically about Sikhism, we can say that the founders of Sikhism started from Hinduism.
Yes.
Because they speak about Shiva and they speak about, lots of Hindu points, the Hindu concepts.
Yeah.
But it cannot be defined as Hinduism.
Yeah.
Because, for example, it doesn't consider the importance of Vedic scriptures.
Yeah.
It doesn't accept a lot of what is taught in Hinduism and Vedic knowledge.
Yeah.
Like, for example, all the, worship of the deities and, stuff. It has some good points, good parts. Sikhism was started to protect the Hindus of those regions from the oppression that they were getting from the Muslim, the Islamic invaders.
Yeah, Mughals.
The Mughals, yeah. So that was a very important thing. Sikhism, from what I can understand, but we can discuss more on a specific conversation, is about solidarity between people.
Yeah.
It's about supporting each other. It's about, standing, for themselves.
Yeah.
But not as a religion, as a people. So, because they are open-minded, they have the, I call them langar.
Sorry? Langar, langar. Open kitchen, yeah.
Open kitchen is not only for sick people.
Yeah, anybody
is welcome, So if you want to go, I believe that anybody can go and visit the Amritsar or any other temple or center or whatever.
Yeah.
So, the solidarity is not just focused on the community, but is open to everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we have Mormonism is actually 17 million people within the Abrahamic religions and new religious movement, is a part of Christianity, but it's a bit weird type of Christianity.
Yeah.
And it was founded specifically in 1820s. Judaism only has 15 million people. All over the world. But Judaism is an extremely powerful group or religion, financially speaking, politically and financially.
Okay.
So that's important. Then here, Middle East, 7th to 5th century BCE. Yeah, okay, here they have updated it because the ancient idea that it was started around 1800 BCE is not holding water anymore. Nobody can say that seriously anymore. It's not controversial anymore. Only the Jews and the Christians will say that it is more ancient than the 6th century BC. Because they refer to Abraham. Abrahamic means from Abraham. So they say that Abraham was born, I think, 1800 BCE. And of course he was the founder of the Abrahamic religions. But that's not even controversial. It's fake. It's a story. It's a myth. Yeah. Abraham never existed. So it's just if someone is starting a religion on Mickey Mouse, and then you find out that Mickey Mouse never existed.
Yeah.
So everything is based on Abraham, and now it has been proven that Abraham never existed.
Angie.
Okay. Then we have the Spiritism, which is, it's weird. They're calling Abrahamic religions, France, 19th century, but it's not Abrahamic.
Yeah.
In the sense, that is more complicated, but Spiritism is when you worship the ghosts.
Yeah.
You have seances and occultism like that. Then we have the Muism, which is not Muslim, and it's a Korean religion. Like what? Unification Church is classified as Christian, but is not really Christian. The Moonies, they are the followers of this guy, Reverend Moon, who became, a big scandal.
Yeah.
Then we go to the Baha'i faith, and go less and 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 less.
Yeah.
So, small size religion, we have the Yazidism. Actually, they killed almost all of them recently. And then we have Zoroastrianism that only has about 200,000 people. It's like, what? And Iranian religion is very weird as a category, because it's the only religion of Iranian religion. There's no other religion. It's like Christians saying Christianity is from Christian religions. Yeah, right. Okay. Mandaism is also extremely interesting, but you say that it's Gnostic, dualistic, and ethnic religion, but is not Abrahamic.
Yeah.
Because it rejects Abraham. So it's a type of Christianity and Judaism that is not based on Abraham. The Gnostics, Gnostics rejected Abraham. So they're not Abrahamic. Although they're Jewish and Christian, they were, because they almost killed them all, practically speaking, except the Mandeans. They didn't they didn't accept Abraham because they believed that the so-called God in the Bible, with whom Abraham made a pact, an agreement, a testament, was actually not God, but he was a bad guy. Was a demon. Which, if you read the Old Testament, you'll kind of get the point.
Angie.
So, this is the growth. Getting more. Islam is getting more. Sikhism is getting more. Taoism is getting more.
The New Testament is probably much better, isn't it, than the Old Testament, by the sounds of it?
That's another interesting point. Yeah. The New Testament is said by the Christians, who are, quite a big number, is said to be better than the Old Testament. Of course, it's a New Testament, a new pact, a new agreement.
Yeah.
But it's weird that the Christians continue to consider the Old Testament as sacred. They continue to keep it in their Bibles.
Yeah.
So, like, okay, if it's not good anymore, why are you keeping it?
Yeah. I guess it's either the word of God or it isn't, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, and Christianity is a mass of contradictions.
Yeah.
And the New Testament is a big mess of contradictions. Which, if you actually read the New Testament seriously and trying to verify, to actually understand and analyze critically, you'll come to the conclusion, okay, thank you very much, we don't need this. For example, Christianity is not one religion.
Yeah.
Okay. There are presently still surviving, still on the market. There are three main, traditional forms of Christianity. Let's forget the Mormons and the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Unification Church or Moonies or whatever. Let's just go to, with the traditional ones.
Yeah.
There are three main Christianity forms. One is Catholicism with the Pope and stuff. The other one is Orthodox Christianity, which is most practically almost only in Russia and Greece. Because they are very regional, very ethnic. They don't go around and convert people. They just stay with themselves and, they don't bother other people. And then we have the Protestants, which are, for example, the almost total majority in the United Kingdom. And practically in the majority also in the United States, for example. Because in England, United Kingdom, you probably heard about it. I don't know how much history you studied in school, but there have been a lot of disagreements in the United Kingdom between Catholics and Protestants.
Yeah, Angie.
And still are. That's why Ireland was split in two. The Republic of Ireland is basically Catholic. And the Northern Ireland is still predominantly Protestant. Why? Because starting from the 15th century, which was basically the beginning of the Protestant movement, in England, in the United Kingdom, and specifically in England, the religion became completely controlled by the king, the crown.
Yeah.
Because, as we know, the particular brand of Protestant Christianity in England is called Anglicanism, because it's identified with England. Anglican, right? Anglo-Saxons, Anglicanism. And in Anglicanism, the king or queen is the head of the church. In all the other Protestant groups, there is no head of the church.
Yeah.
There is no, I mean, each person can become a preacher. Each person can create their own church, and they do. You go, especially in the United States, you have all the, all the most incredible types of churches. But in England, the church is controlled by the government from the times of Henry VIII. Henry VIII, it was not so much against the Pope because, he wanted to, divorce and marry again, because he could have, he didn't have to bother about divorce. He could just, as he did, he could just, make accuse the wife of treason and do away with them. That doesn't require divorce. Like, oh, okay, And in fact, at some point he did that because he found out that divorce is a headache. But the point is that Henry VIII started Anglicanism because he didn't want the Pope to tell him what to do.
Yeah.
Excuse me. He didn't want the Pope to control the politics.
Yeah.
So Catholicism is all about the Pope.
Yeah.
And the Church has a very strict hierarchy and dogma, and you have to believe only what the Pope says. Orthodox Christianity, they can, they have their own groups of churches, but they don't have a head. They have elders and stuff, but they don't have specifically, But they are Orthodox in the sense they're, attached to lots of rituals and even books that have not been inserted in the general Bible. The version of the Bible that is most widespread in the English-speaking world is the King James Version, which is not Orthodox. It was Catholic, but then became Protestant. Because the great change of Protestantism was that everybody can read and interpret the Bible as they want.
Yeah.
Because Catholics prohibited regular people to read the Bible or even to have the Bible in their house until 1970. 1960, yeah. So you see the difference. Already in 1500s, the Protestant Christians were, very much fanatical about the Bible.
Yeah.
New and Old Testament. The Catholics are not.
Yeah.
The Catholics have what they call catechism, which is the official indoctrination given by the Church.
Yeah.
Until now, is everything clear?
Hanji, yeah. Yeah, it is, yeah.
You have any questions?
It's good to know about how it's all originated, definitely, Matadi, and I think it's been very good, to understand that. I know there's lots of things to discuss, and like with for the Muslim religion as well, to understand.
Okay, the Muslim religion, it's I'm not as expert as I am in Christianity.
Yeah.
But it's I can give you some links. For example, there are many communities of ex-Muslims.
Yeah.
Who openly discuss about Islam.
Yeah.
But they are risking their lives.
I understand, Mataji. Yeah, of course.
Because
it's quite-
according to the Islamic doctrine, you cannot leave Islam, or you cannot even criticize Islam, because that is capital punishment. I mean, they have to kill you.
Yeah.
So you can understand that talking about Islam is not so easy.
Yeah, I understand, Mataji. I understand.
So the information that you can find about the actual facts of Islam are very scarce.
Yeah.
While you can find a lot about Christianity and the general concept of Abrahamic religions that are obviously apparent, very clear, by studying already Christianity and some of the information that we can get about Islam and Judaism.
Yeah.
So we have more or less covered your questions.
Hanji, yeah. It's been very good, yeah.
Yeah, we have not gone through the last question you had. Why does Hinduism have so many gods and who is more supreme? Because it doesn't have so many gods. It's a long story.
Yeah.
Which deserves, I think we did some discussion about that, but we are going to write it down. Any other question regarding what we have been discussing today?
No, Mataji, I think it is very useful to understand the differences between. I know you spoke about the major religions and some of the religions that probably are not so popular. Like I didn't know about, like Taoism and some other Zoroastrianism I've vaguely heard of. But I mean, it looks like in the world, the majority religions, like the most popular religions, are Islam and
Christianity, especially.
Christianity, and like with Hinduism, like the thing I'm thinking about is like obviously there's a one creator who's created the world, and he's made all these religions.
No. It seems obvious to you because that's the Abrahamic perspective that has become the standard model for all religions in the mind of most people.
But why then, Mataji, did like it looks like okay? So if God, like Hinduism, it does obviously the religion itself. It does seem very like, sort of makes sense in the scientific terms as well. But what it is, why did God only choose that, region? Let's say because I don't know. What about the rest of the world?
God didn't.
Okay.
You are postulating a premise of the question that is not accurate.
Hanji.
All human beings are supposed to have the choice if they want to follow the Vedic knowledge or not.
Yeah, Hanji.
So the creator, we need to understand what is the meaning of creator, because according to the Vedic tradition, there are two levels of creation.
Yeah.
The first creation is the manifestation of the entire material thing, energy.
Yeah.
Which is eternal. There is no creation. The creation is always there. It becomes manifested and non-manifested.
So, but the Vedic knowledge is from, like, it looks like it's originated in India. Like, if somebody, for example, born in, like, who was France, say, over 2,000 years ago, how would he have any access to the Vedic knowledge at all?
They actually... not even in India, everybody had complete access. India, what we call India, it was called Bharatavarsha or Aryavarta.
Hanji.
Because that was a traditional place where people who wanted to follow the Vedic knowledge used to go and stay.
Yeah.
Now, what is not clear through the history we study in schools presently is that in very ancient times people were going around much more than we think.
Hanji.
There were a lot of migrations. And the people who went to France, who went to Europe, who went to, the West,
Yeah.
who are still called Indo-Europeans,
I see. Yeah. Yeah.
actually left India.
Yeah, I guess it would have taken a long time because obviously without transport. But yeah.
No, I mean not such a lot of time. Listen, in ancient the Vikings took about 12 days to go from Iceland to the North America.
Oh, okay.
So,
I see.
It didn't take such a long time because people were traveling with chariots and cars and ships and caravans, and even if they only cover 50 kilometers a day,
Yeah.
which was the average that the horse can go, and you can actually, if you that with proper training you can walk 50 kilometers in a day.
Yeah.
If you don't do anything else.
No, I understand, Mataji. Yeah, you can. Yeah.
You can. It's humanly possible.
Yeah.
Obviously you have to train, and if you are moving with all your family and stuff, you don't walk simply, but you can go with boats, or we can go with cars, or we can go with caravans or whatever. So 50 kilometers a day, even if you move, let's say 5,000 kilometers, is just what? 100 days?
Yeah. Hanji.
So what is 100 days?
Yeah. I guess there's a lot of like because the sea comes in between a lot of countries, doesn't it?
Yeah, but then you have boats.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of countries that are, not so like, between India and France, you can walk. There's not sea.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah,
between,
like if you're talking about America or Australia, then yeah,
an island, of course. You don't just have to swim. You can take a boat. But from India, people have walked even in recent years. Until in the 70s, there were lots of hippies who were going to India by walking.
Hanji, yeah.
That of course I had to go through Pakistan, but there was no Taliban at that time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Hanji.
The problem of movements of people started with Islam, because Islam actually closed all the routes, both on the Mediterranean and on land, the caravans, because their way of it's written in the Quran that it is very good to go pillaging, it's a legitimate, the war booty, you attack people and rob them, and it's all very good. Because God said, okay, yeah, that's nice.
Hanji.
So, you can imagine it became much more difficult. That's why Columbus, got on the boats, because, he couldn't get to India through land, because there was all the Muslims that, they're going to rob you and kill you, and, and you cannot get many spices back to Europe like that.
Hanji.
So they had to take the boat. And Columbus, it was not the only one. That was in the 14 and 1500s, that was the beginning of the colonial times. Why? Because in Europe they still wanted the spices. They still wanted stuff they used to get from India, and they stopped getting it because the Muslims were going to rob you and kill you if you tried to go there.
Yeah.
So why, when Columbus came, the first explorers and colonialists came to the America, they called them Indians? Why?
Anji.
Because they were expecting to find Indians. Now, when they realized the mistake, they started to call them the East India and West India.
Yeah.
But it's still now in cricket you have that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We do. Yeah.
They started with the East India Company and the West India Company because they realized, oh, that was not India. We have to go around the Africa. We don't have to go through, and go around the world, because before India we bump into America. So instead of going around, we have to go around Africa. Okay, that's not funny, but we have to do that. So they did.
So I suppose, Mataji, wherever you were born, there's an opportunity for you to, have the knowledge.
That's not that only the people born in India had the opportunity to become Hindus, but if India has holy places,
yeah,
people who want to be Hindus, they should be allowed and encouraged and supported to move there.
Yeah.
Just like Muslims, they have their holy places, and why not? Why don't you go and stay there?
Yeah.
And the same with Christians. They have the Holy Land. The problem is that the Holy Land of Christians, Muslims, and Jews is the same land. So
I see.
so because they cannot live together in good friendship and harmony, they keep fighting. They're never going to stop fighting.
Anji.
So, it's not that Hinduism is only for Indians. That's stupid. That's an idea that was propagated by the colonialists.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who didn't want Hinduism to spread. But the Rig Veda, Rig Veda, which is considered one of the most ancient, texts on Hinduism, said, Krimvanto Vishwaryam, let everybody become Hindu.
Yeah.
Why not? Let everybody become Arya. Arya means following the Vedic knowledge.
Yeah.
Very clearly, Krimvanto Vishwaryam. Everyone, Vishwa, everyone in the universe. Everyone, all. So, okay. I think you got enough for today.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose, Martha, just to finish off,
Yes.
I think, as much as, it would be a perfect world if everybody followed, these principles. But all we can do is just, be the example ourselves, isn't it? Rather than...
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because I know in the Vedic knowledge, we don't go out to try to convince or convert people.
We don't force anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Mainly because we believe in reincarnation.
Yeah.
Which Abrahamic religions don't.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, absolutely. The person, will.
If you're not convinced this lifetime, okay, see you next life.
Yeah, absolutely, Martha. There's no it's
no
not
rush.
such a big. Yeah. Because we've had many lives, haven't we? And
no pressure.
They don't believe the same thing that we've had previous lives, do they?
Actually, they used to, but then the church realized it was bad for business.
Okay. Right. Yeah. But no, thank you, Mataji. That was very informative.
Useful. Yeah. Okay. Excellent.
It was helpful. Yeah.
Okay, we can continue some other time if you. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Look. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Jama.